All right, get ready to crank your necks way, way up, because in this deep dive,
Oh, yeah.
we're exploring the history of humanity's, obsession with building taller and taller.
Always reaching for the sky.
Yeah, and
Literally.
literally, we've got this fascinating video essay all about the most skyscraping structures ever built.
Oh, love this one.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it really got me thinking,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just about which building wins the tallest title, right?
Right.
This is whole deeper story about why
Exactly.
certain kinds of structures were like all the rage
Mm-hmm.
in different periods of history. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head with that one.
Oh, thanks.
These structures become these incredible markers in time.
Yeah.
They reflect not just architectural trends,
Right.
but the very fabric of the societies that built them.
Exactly. Can you believe
It's
the
fascinating.
pyramids held the height record for almost 4,000 years?
It's mind-boggling.
4,000 years.
Yeah.
What was going on back then that allowed for such massive projects and what finally shifted to allow us to break free from that pyramid-shaped mold?
It's truly remarkable when you think about it.
Yeah.
The sheer scale
Oh, wait.
of resources, manpower, and societal organization
Yeah.
that went into constructing those pyramids.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, those ancient civilizations, they were operating under very different circumstances than we are today.
Totally.
They had different priorities,
Oh, yeah.
different belief systems, even different ways of organizing labor.
Just imagine the sheer
Oh.
logistical feat
Yeah.
of coordinating thousands of workers without modern communication tools.
Right.
Can't even...
It boggles the mind.
Yeah.
But as societies evolved, so did their needs and capabilities.
That makes sense.
The rise of new technologies, the shift towards different religious practices, and the increasing complexity of urban life
Yeah.
all played a role in driving new architectural forms.
So it wasn't just that people suddenly figured out how to build taller.
No?
It was like a whole cultural shift that kind of paved the way.
Precisely.
I see.
Take the emergence of Gothic cathedrals in the 1300s.
Oh,
We see the development of new building techniques,
like what?
like pointed arches and flying buttresses,
Oh, right.
that allowed for taller, lighter structures.
Interesting.
But these innovations,
Yeah.
they weren't just about engineering prowess.
Right.
They were intricately tied to the prevailing religious and social climate of the time.
Oh, I see what I mean.
Yeah.
The video essay mentioned the Lincoln Cathedral in England
Yes.
as the first one to actually top the pyramids.
It's amazing to think about.
And then it seemed like a whole bunch of other cathedrals
Yeah, it was a trend.
started vying for that top spot.
Right.
So do you think there was this competitive spirit driving those ever taller churches?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Each city wanting to have the most awe-inspiring cathedral
For sure.
to show off their piety.
It's definitely a factor.
Yeah.
You can't underestimate the symbolic power of height,
Right.
especially in a religious context. Cathedrals reaching for the heavens,
Yeah.
striving to touch the divine.
Almost like a...
It's a powerful visual metaphor.
It is.
Of course, there was always an element of civic pride and rivalry.
For sure.
A grand cathedral could be a symbol of a city's wealth, power,
Sure.
and cultural influence.
Totally. Makes sense. It's kind of like a my cathedral's closer to God than yours
Right.
sort of thing.
Right, perhaps not in those exact words,
Yeah. Correct.
but the sentiment certainly existed.
I bet.
And you see that same drive for prestige and innovation playing out as we move into the modern era, just with different motivations and technological tools at our disposal.
Like with the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that it was the first structure where if you decided to take a leap of faith, or maybe just a really bad decision,
Right.
you'd hit terminal velocity
Yeah.
before hitting the ground.
That's got to be a thought.
That must have been a mind-blowing concept at the time.
Absolutely.
There-
The Eiffel Tower was a game changer
Yeah.
in so many ways.
Yeah.
Not just its height, but also its groundbreaking use of iron and steel.
Right.
It really ushered in a new era of construction.
And laid the groundwork for the skyscraper craze of the early 20th century.
Precisely.
I love it.
The Chrysler Building, the Empire State Building.
So iconic.
These structures weren't just about height.
Yeah.
They became symbols of economic power, technological progress
for sure,
and the sheer ambition of modern cities.
But then
around
the mid-1950s, things get a bit, I think it's, well,
peculiar. Yeah, peculiar is a good word for it.
We see radio and TV towers starting to dominate the height records.
Right.
It felt kind of like a sudden shift in priorities. Like, what was going on there?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it?
It is.
This shift reflects a changing world, one where communication and information were becoming increasingly vital.
Right.
These towers needed to be tall
to
transmit signals effectively across vast distances.
So they had to be tall, just for practical reasons.
It's a testament to the growing importance of connecting people and ideas.
I like that.
It's a reminder that the drive for height isn't always about aesthetics or ego.
Right.
Sometimes it's about practicality and progress.
Totally.
On an entirely different level.
Yeah. Function over form, like you said.
Exactly.
And speaking of function, there's this story in the video about the Warsaw radio mast.
Oh, right.
This incredibly tall structure.
This one's crazy.
Yeah. Met a rather tragic end.
A tragic end.
Yeah. When it collapsed back in 1991 due to, get this, a construction error.
A construction error.
It's a stark reminder that building at these extreme heights comes with its own set of risks and responsibilities, really.
Absolutely. As we push the boundaries of height, the engineering challenges and safety considerations become exponentially more complex.
That's got to be scary.
The Warsaw radio mast collapse is a tragic example of what can happen when even seemingly small mistakes occur in projects of this scale.
Oh, for sure.
Material strength, wind loads, structural integrity. These all need to be meticulously calculated.
So meticulously calculated. So there's definitely this element of risk versus reward.
Absolutely.
When it comes to building taller and taller.
It's always a balance.
But let's move on to the current champion. The Burj Khalifa.
The champ.
It's so tall that you could literally watch the sunset twice from it.
Isn't that wild?
That's just mind-blowing.
It's crazy.
What innovations made this kind of structure possible?
The Burj Khalifa is a marvel of modern engineering. Its Y-shaped design provides exceptional stability against wind loads.
So the shape is important.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
And it utilizes high-strength concrete. A material with incredible compressive strength.
Wow.
Allowing it to withstand the enormous forces acting upon it.
That makes sense.
But beyond the technical achievements, the Burj Khalifa also represents a new chapter in how we think about tall structures.
I'm all ears. What do you mean by a new chapter?
Well, it's not just about reaching for the sky anymore. The Burj Khalifa incorporates residential, commercial, and entertainment spaces.
It's like a building.
It's a vertical city in its own right.
Wow.
Symbolizing a shift towards mixed-use development and a more integrated approach to urban living.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder what the future holds.
I know, right?
For tall structures, doesn't it?
It's exciting to think about.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
there's
this cool point the video makes about experiencing a double sunset.
Oh, yeah?
Without needing to be on top of a skyscraper.
I love this part.
All you need is your own height at the beach.
Just your own height.
It seems like a simple observation.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's something deeper there. Something about our perspective and how we understand our place on Earth.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
You've hit on something quite profound.
Have I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even something as seemingly mundane as watching the sunset twice from different heights can reveal fundamental truths about the world around us.
Like what kind of truths?
It reminds us that our perspective, our vantage point, plays a crucial role in how we experience and understand reality.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah, and it speaks to that innate human desire to explore, to push the boundaries of our perception. Whether that's by building towering structures or simply by changing our physical position on a beach.
That's trippy.
It really makes you wonder where that drive to explore will take us next, doesn't it?
I know.
The video essay even touched on the idea of a space elevator.
Wait, like a space elevator? elevator.
Talk about pushing boundaries.
Seriously. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's a theoretical concept.
Yeah.
But the idea of a structure stretching all the way into space,
I know.
it's almost too wild to imagine.
It's pretty out there.
Is that even remotely possible
Mm.
with our current technology?
Well, possible is a tricky word.
Yeah.
When you're talking about something this ambitious.
I bet.
Let's just say it presents a whole new level of engineering challenges, unlike anything we've ever tackled before.
Oh, I bet.
The biggest hurdle, arguably, is finding a material strong enough to withstand the absolutely mind-boggling stresses involved.
Yeah, you can't just slap some duct tape on that thing and call it a day.
No duct tape is not going to cut it here.
What kind of materials are we even talking about here?
Scientists are exploring some incredibly exotic materials for this purpose.
Like what?
Carbon nanotubes, for instance, hold a lot of promise.
Yeah.
They're incredibly strong and lightweight, but we're still nowhere near being able to manufacture them on the scales needed for a space elevator.
That makes sense.
It's like trying to knit a sweater with threads 1,000 times thinner than a human hair.
Oh, wow.
The technology just isn't there yet.
So it sounds like a space elevator is a bit like a giant physics-defying puzzle, and we're still missing a lot of the pieces.
That's a good analogy.
Thanks.
But even with all the challenges, the potential rewards of a space elevator are so enormous that it's hard not to get excited about the possibility.
Like what?
The video essay mentioned
that
it could slash the cost of sending materials into orbit from something like $11,000 per pound to just $100 per pound.
Whoa, that's a huge difference.
That kind of cost reduction would be absolutely revolutionary.
Okay, now you're talking my language.
Right.
I can already see the headlines. Space travel now, affordable for everyone. Book your trip to orbit today.
Exactly.
But seriously, what kind of impact could that have on, well, everything?
The implications are staggering.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about potentially unlocking a whole new era of space exploration and commercialization.
That's wild.
Imagine satellites being launched with ease.
Okay.
Space-based solar power becoming a viable energy source.
Yeah.
Even space tourism becoming more accessible to the average person.
So basically, it could fundamentally reshape our relationship with space. Wow, it really paints this picture of a future where space isn't just this distant frontier reserved for astronauts and billionaires, but a place we can interact with and benefit from in all sorts of new ways.
A new world.
But I have to admit, part of me is still stuck on the how of it all.
Right.
The video also mentioned some pretty serious concerns.
Yes.
Like the whole issue of space debris.
Oh, right. Space junk.
How do you avoid having your fancy space elevator get sliced in half by a stray satellite part?
That's a very valid concern.
Yeah.
One proposed solution involves making the base of the elevator mobile, perhaps on a platform in the ocean.
Oh, like in the middle of the ocean?
That way, it could theoretically maneuver around potential collisions with space debris.
So it could, like, dodge.
It's a complex problem that would require some pretty creative engineering solutions.
So it's not just about building up.
No.
It's about building smart and building safe, right?
Oh.
But I have one more, maybe even more mind-boggling question about the space elevator thing.
Yeah.
The video mentioned that the further out you go on the elevator, the faster it would be moving due to Earth's rotation.
Because of the spin.
I mean, wouldn't that make for a pretty wild ride?
It would be quite a ride.
How would people even handle that kind of speed and acceleration?
That's another inherent aspect of the space elevator concept.
Okay.
The further you travel up the cable, the faster you'd be moving relative to the Earth's surface.
Oh, I see.
It's a bit like being on a giant spinning merry-go-round.
Okay.
The further you are from the center,
the
faster you go.
Okay.
Passengers would definitely need to acclimatize to those changing forces.
Yeah, I bet.
And the design of the elevator cars would need to prioritize safety and comfort during those transitions.
It all sounds so incredibly complex.
It is a complex concept.
Like something straight out of science fiction.
I know, right?
But let's say hypothetically, we managed to crack the code, overcome all the technical and logistical hurdles, and actually build this space elevator. What would that mean for humanity?
That's the big question.
Would it be this giant leap forward for our species?
Potentially.
Or are there potential downsides we need to consider?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It's tempting to view the space elevator as a purely positive advancement?
Yeah.
And in many ways, it could be.
Yeah.
Imagine the scientific discoveries we could make.
Totally.
The resources we could access.
Yeah.
Maybe even the solutions to some of our most pressing problems here on Earth.
Wow.
A space elevator could be the key to ensuring the long-term survival of our species.
Okay, now I'm really getting those sci-fi vibes.
Right.
But you said in many ways it could be a positive thing.
Yes.
What are the other ways?
Well, it's crucial to remember that even the most groundbreaking technologies are tools.
Right.
And tools can be used for good or for ill.
That's true.
Who controls access to this space elevator?
Oh, good point.
Who benefits from its use?
Yeah.
What are the environmental impacts of its construction and operation?
Right.
These are questions we need to be asking right now, even if a space elevator is still a distant possibility.
Right.
We need to ensure that this technology serves all of humanity, not just a select few.
Yeah, that's important.
It's a good reminder that progress isn't always a straight line.
No, it's not.
And even the most awe-inspiring innovations come with responsibilities.
But enough with the hypotheticals.
Right.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the ancient pyramids to this mind-bending concept of a space elevator.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It really highlights the incredible journey of human ingenuity.
Yes.
Our constant drive to build bigger, bolder, and sometimes even crazier. It's in our nature.
But where do we go from here?
That's the question.
What does the future hold for tall structures? Are we going to see space elevators become a reality?
It's possible.
Or will we come up with entirely new architectural forms that we can't even fathom yet?
Predicting the future is a fool's game, as they say.
True, true.
But I think it's safe to say that the human spirit of exploration and innovation will continue to shape the world around us.
I agree.
And that includes the structures we build.
I love it.
We might see new materials.
Like what?
Like those carbon nanotubes.
Right.
Revolutionize construction, allowing us to build even taller and more sustainable skyscrapers.
Even taller than the Burj Khalifa.
Or perhaps we'll turn our attention to building structures in extreme environments.
Okay, like what?
Like underwater cities or lunar habitats.
Wow.
The possibilities are truly endless.
It's both exciting and a little daunting to think about, isn't it?
It is.
But, you know.
While all this talk of futuristic megastructures is captivating, it's good to remember that profound discoveries don't always require reaching for the stars.
That's true.
The video essay made that point beautifully with the double sunset at the beach example.
I love that example.
It reminded us that sometimes the most profound insights come from simply paying attention to the world around us.
Absolutely.
From those seemingly simple observations that can spark bigger questions about our place in the universe.
Exactly.
It's funny how this whole conversation about reaching for the sky,
about
building these incredible structures, has brought us back down to Earth in a way.
Right back down.
It makes you realize that progress isn't always about bigger, taller, bolder.
It's not always a race to the top.
Sometimes it's about those quiet moments of observation, those simple things.
A little thing.
That make you go,
huh,
I never thought about it that way before.
I love those moments.
Me too.
What fascinates me is how those seemingly simple observations can lead to the most profound leaps in understanding.
I see what you mean.
Like that double sunset at the beach.
Oh, yeah.
It's playful.
Yeah.
It's accessible. But it unlocks this fundamental truth about our planet's shape and our own perspective.
It's like both approaches, building these towering structures and contemplating those subtle wonders of nature.
Yeah, they're both sides of the same coin.
Are both expressions of the same human impulse, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
This drive to explore, to understand, to connect with something larger than ourselves.
Exactly.
It's a powerful thing.
And that impulse can take so many different forms.
Yeah, for sure.
For some people, it might be the burning desire to design a building that kisses the clouds.
I love that.
For others, it might be the quiet curiosity that leads them to study the intricate patterns in a seashell.
Oh, wow.
Or the vastness of the night sky.
That's beautiful.
It's all connected.
And what's so cool is that all of those pursuits, in their own unique ways, contribute to our collective understanding of the universe and our place within it.
It all adds up.
It's like we're all adding pieces to this giant
It is.
Cosmic jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
Each piece valuable.
Every single one.
Each piece telling a part of the story.
I love that analogy.
Ah, thanks.
It reminds us
Yeah.
that even if we never manage to build a space elevator,
Okay.
even if we never colonize Mars,
Right.
the journey itself is what truly matters.
The journey.
Yes, the questions we ask, the challenges we overcome,
Yeah.
the discoveries we make along the way.
Right.
Those are the things that define our progress as a species.
That's beautifully put.
Thank you.
And I think it's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
So, to our listener out there.
To our listeners, exploring.
Yeah.
Keep that curiosity alive.
And keep questioning.
Ask those big questions.
Keep reaching for the sky.
Literally or metaphorically.
Whether that's literally or metaphorically.
Exactly.
Who knows what incredible discoveries await.
The universe is full of surprises.
This has been The Deep Dive.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll catch you next time.
Until next time.
For another fascinating plunge into the depths of knowledge.
See you then.